these will be. The world hears you, and the people will not be falling down. Oh, it's all of us.
Never give in. Never, never, never. In nothing, great or small, large or petty, never give in except to convictions of honor and good sense. Never yield to force. Never yield to the apparently overwhelming might of the enemy.
But I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land. So I'm happy tonight. I'm not worried about anything. I'm not fearing any man. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord.
We declare our right on this earth to be a man, to be a human being, to be respected as a human being, to be given the rights of a human being in this society, on this earth, in this day, which we intend to bring into existence by any means necessary.
Apostle Claver T. Kamau-Imani on RagingElePhantsRadio.com.
Hey, what's up, Saints and Patriots? Apostle Claver T. Kamau-Imani, RagingElePhantsRadio.com. The rebellious voice of Texas Liberty. Hope you had a fantastic weekend. I had business to take care of yesterday. I had to take Barbara to the doctor and other stuff. I had to appear in another radio program, Chip Darby's radio program. I had other business to take care of, but I'm here today to take care of business with you. And boy, is it going to be a packed program. Raging Elephants radio contributor Terry Hall's going to be here. And I think for the very first time, or it's been a long time, we will ask him when he comes on out of Montgomery County. Former county commissioner, I think that was Comal County, Gregory Parker. Some of you guys know him. He's a Together conservative brother. And you may want to check out his op-ed at RagingElePhantsRadio.com. It has to do with Greg Abbott's gun control proposals. So it could be a little bit offensive to some of y'all. I don't care. I'm going to be absolutely honest with you guys today. What am I talking about? I'm honest with you guys every day. So what am I talking about? For the last couple of weeks, I've been pretty harsh on President Trump when it comes to border security, or more accurately labeled, the border invasion. And I said that I was going to be equally tough on those that are in office here in the Lone Star State, under the Pink Dome and in the governor's mansion. And that evisceration starts today. Welcome to the slaughterhouse. Because the border invasion is still the #1 issue facing Texans. That's what they consider to be the #1 priority, the border invasion, and I happen to agree with them. So we're going to get to Governor Spine of Steel Abbott, or like I like to refer to him, Spine of Overcooked Linguine, because the border invasion still continues. We've been hammering the president over the last two weeks. If you haven't heard the border invasion numbers so far for FY 2018, well then you definitely don't want to cut the stream. Whether you're checking us out on RagingElePhantsRadio.com, the audio stream through RER app, which everybody should have downloaded. You're checking out the live video stream through Facebook.com/RagingElePhantsRadio. Or you're checking us out on YouTube, on the RER Video YouTube channel. Search RER Video. It makes it easier if you do capital R, capital E, capital R, and then lowercase video. No space. Makes it a whole lot easier to find the channel. So if you prefer Facebook, you can go through Facebook. If you prefer YouTube, You can go YouTube. If you're out there commuting, turn your video device off and connect your audio device to your automobile as you are instructed every single day, multiple times here on Raging Elephants Radio, and listen to this awesome stuff dealing with Texas news. Hey, what's up, Ricardo? Ricardo may want to hang around. I may have some numbers for Ricardo Rigolato, a native of New York. We may talk about New York a little bit later on. He escaped. Talk about the movie Escape from New York. Ricardo is one of them. And he brought some New Yorkers with him. Y'all better come down here to I don't know if he said y'all, because a few times Ricardo and I have hung out. I don't recall him using the word y'all. But he may have said y'all need to check out Claver, and y'all need to come down here to Texas. And he had people actually follow him down here to Texas from New York. Escape from New York. Everybody's talking about it. The Trump, Putin, whatever you want to call it, meeting, summit. I don't know what you want to call it. I have one word of criticism for the president. It's a one-word criticism, and here it is. Whiff. W-H-I-F-F. I actually tweeted it. That is my one-word criticism of the president when it comes to his meeting with Vladimir Putin. Whiff. Swing and a miss. Swing, batter, batter. He swung and missed on that one. A complete, utter whiff. Ball in the dirt. Whiff. And everybody can have a bad day. Everybody can have a bad day. Jose Altuve can have a bad day. J.J. Watt can have a bad day. James Harden can have a bad day. Anybody can have a bad day. President the Donald, hey, he had a bad day. He had one of those bad days. And it was a really bad day. It was the equivalent of going 0 for 5 with 4 strikeouts on pitches in the dirt. Or 4 strikeouts looking, which is worse. But it was a straight up whiff. Swing, batter, batter. It was sad to watch. But you know, for those of us, all of us, I mean, how can you not? Those of us who have observed the president, who can't observe the president? He's inescapable. I mean, the guy, I guess he's second only to the Holy Spirit when it comes to omnipresence. He's everywhere. You can't escape that guy. Sometimes he muffs his statements. He muffs them. I think yesterday was a straight up muff. Now, he came back with his interview with Sean Hannity, and it sounded like he doubled down. But I think it's a confluence. He's conflating the Russia investigation, dealing with meddling in the election, with the collusion accusations. And he's hypersensitive, and he's defensive. And of course, being self-centered and narcissistic, the idea that somehow he had help from somebody else to win, no, he doesn't want to do that. But I think it was a straight up misstatement. Let me take you back to Charlottesville. He muffed Charlottesville. That was a fumble of epic proportions. Instead of saying there were good people on both sides, I think the smarter way to communicate it would have been, hey, there were bad people on both sides. The changing of just one word, in fact, would have been a whole lot more accurate. There were bad people on both sides. As we showed right here on Raging Elephants Radio, I even shared the photographs via Twitter. Yeah, okay, on one side, you had neo-Nazis and white supremacists. On the other side, the guys they were banging heads with, they were going to battle with, they were communists. There were hammer and sickles all over the place. They were being organized by the Workers' World Party. The World Workers' Party, the WWP. They're all over the place. That's communist. Straight up communist. We're not talking about Bernie Sanders communist. We're not talking about that fluffy little thing that just won the congressional primary in Brooklyn. Communist. We're talking about straight up communist. They're communist. Straight up communist. And simply because the communists happen to be racially diverse, well, the Communist News Network and BSNBC were going to say, well, these were good people versus bad people, because the ones who were battling the neo-Nazis and the white supremacists, they happen to be racially diverse. And there may have been a couple of rainbow flags thrown in there as well. But they were just as bad as the people. More people have died under the flag of communism, under communist movements, than white supremacists and the KKK could ever dream or imagine or execute, choice of word appropriate, in their lives. They could never dream of how many people have been annihilated, genocided for the cause of communism. It's no competition. And that's who the white supremacists, the neo-Nazis, the Klansmen, that's who they were clashing with at Charlottesville. So the president, instead of saying there were good people on both sides, he should have said there were bad people on both sides, because they were. Both sides were bad. White supremacists and Klansmen on one side, straight up communist and neo-moralist on the other side. Bad people on both sides. Now I'm going to say this. So, well, let me button it up with this. I think the president yesterday at the press conference, which was just painful to watch, he muffed it. Totally, absolutely, 100% muffed it. It was a whiff. The whole meeting was a whiff. And let's just be honest. If we're going to be intellectually honest, if I'm going to give it to you straight, no chaser, and I know I've been hard on the president over the last 2 weeks. I know I've been hard on him on this border invasion. But I got to give it to you straight, no chaser. I got to tell you like a TI is. I mean, he looked like a rank amateur next to Putin. A rank amateur. Putin has been in power for nearly 20 years, and Putin is no overweight, 30-year-old with a bad haircut that likes NBA basketball and hangs out with Dennis Rodman. Big difference between Little Rocket Man and Little Vladimir. Just a little bit different there. And it showed on yesterday. Little Rocket Man, Donald Trump is so bad with nicknames. Chairman Kim is no contest compared to Vladimir Putin. No contest. There's major U.S. cities that have a larger economy than North Korea. Well, for that matter, Texas is bigger than Russia, which says a lot about Texas independence. But I will say this, I agree with Putin on something. Thank you, Vladimir. Yes, thank you for hacking the DNC so that we can see how crooked Hillary actually was. How crooked, how corrupt the Democratic National Committee is. I agree with him on that. He was smirking because we all know he hacked the thing. He hacked it. Thanks, Vlad. We really appreciate it. The world can actually see how crooked, corrupt, and how rigged the Democratic Party actually is. Confirmed by the book from Donna Brazil that said Hillary Clinton rigged the whole thing. They ran Debbie Wasserman Schultz out of the Democratic National Convention because it was so crooked. Thanks, Vlad. You did us a favor. I agree with that. The real question is, how did yesterday's whiff impact the 2018 midterms? I'll answer in a moment. Don't cut the stream.
RER Cross is the Christian programming of RagingElePhantsRadio.com. Pastor Stephen Broden is a featured Bible teacher.
What runs interference with God's instructive word are Satan, the world, and the flesh. Out of these three comes doubt, fear, and unbelief. Doubt and fear leads to unbelief. Unbelief, more than any other sin, is targeted towards the very character and integrity of God Himself. It challenges God's promises, His stated purposes, and casts dispersion on His plan for you and all who believe. This is what Satan did in the Garden of God with Adam and Eve. Satan led them to believe God was holding back on them and was untruthful about the consequences if they ate from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil.
Enjoy Pastor Stephen Broden, 9:30 a.m. and 9:30 p.m. Sundays on RER Cross, right here on RagingElePhantsRadio.com.
Green Air technology will sanitize, sterilize, and defunkifies your home. Our treatment utilizes a high-output biocleaner to eradicate bacteria, germs, and airborne pathogens and allergens in any home, vehicle, or facility. So if your facility or home smells funky like a bow-legged monkey, call Green Air Technologies. We are dedicated to eliminating odor and airborne contaminants at home, at work, or even in your vehicle.
Now featuring Biosphere.
Call Jim Green at 346-254-9217 or go to greenairtech.com. 346-254-9217 or go to greenairtech.com.
Hi there, my name is Mark Cranenberg and welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to talk about my favorite order from Chicago Steak Company. It's the Classic Prime Assortment. Alright, well let's open up and have a look what's inside. So right away we've got two 6-ounce filet mignons. If you know anything about steak, it's really rare to see filet mignons with that kind of marbling in it. Just beautiful steak. And then next we've got the two 12-ounce USDA prime strip steaks. Just look at how thick these things are. They're just beautiful. Again, beautifully marbled, amazing steak. Then we've got two USDA prime ribeyes. And if you like steak that is just mouth-watering, this is the steak for you. With all that marbling inside, you'll see it's thicker. The marbling is a lot thicker. That just means more moisture throughout your steak. Now we've got 6 USDA prime top sirloin steaks. These are the steaks that everyone's going to love. Then we're moving into our next package. Next we have 16 4-ounce gourmet Angus steak burgers. These are amazing burgers that everyone's going to love. And to top it all off, they give you one container of my favorite steak seasoning of all time, the Chicago Steak Spice. And you're going to love it too. So there you have the Classic Prime Assortment. My favorite and your ultimate steak experience. So be sure to order your steak today at mychicagosteak.com. I'm Mark. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and we'll see you next time at mychicagosteak.com.
Visit Chicago Steak Company through the RER Marketplace.
Listen up, Texans. RER Nation has got to grow. We've got to have those RER app downloads. Android devices. Here's how to share the RER app. Get to your application manager through Settings, tap the RER app logo. There's your Google Play, right? Scroll down. See the share icon? Hit it. Choose text or messenger. Pick a couple of Texas Patriots. Give a testimony in 160 characters. Send. iOS device folks, do the equivalent through the App Store. Let's get it viral. RER app.
Numbers equal power. Spread the word about RagingElePhantsRadio.com.
Whole lot of chatting going on Facebook.com/RagingElePhantsRadio. Live video stream over there. Today's program includes Raging Elephants Radio contributor Cherry Hall from TexasTurf.org. Yes, we're going to be talking about transportation and your liberty to move from point A to point B. That is a major instrument of tyranny in the Lone Star State. A major instrument of tyranny. Transportation. So when Terry comes on, and she's always full of pertinent, vital, critical information on this issue. She's the foremost authority out of the Liberty Movement. I mean, her reports are this chock full of stuff you need to know, so you don't want to miss that. Gregory Parker is going to be coming on talking about it. Look, there's a lot of people ticked off about what Greg Abbott is doing with this gun control stuff, these red flag laws, and he shall not go unscathed right here on my program, because this is not for entertainment purposes. This is wartime radio. I've given you guys admonitions. I've given you guys warning. Warning, this program is not for entertainment purposes, and feelings may get hurt. Because we're talking about life, liberty, and the pursuit of prosperity. Look, this whole whiff thing that happened yesterday with President Donald, it was a straight up whiff. It was, if I was catching, it would have been, hey, I used to say this, because, I mean, I almost got in fights when I was a catcher in Pony League, Colt League, because I would talk so much trash from behind the plate and distract the batters. That's why I'm such a good trash talker today. I would trash talk, they would strike out, and I would say something like, go home and tell your mama you struck out. I would literally say that. Go home and tell your mama you struck out. Brutal. And we would win games. And our pitchers would have like 8 strikeout games and stuff like that, because I would completely, totally have them discombobulated. I thought it was part of my job. Distract the batter. I'm not cheating. I'm talking to him when the pitch is coming. With the midterms coming up, President Donald cannot, or should I say, could not have any unforced errors. No fumbles, no interceptions, no turnovers. Can't have any unforced errors. I'm speaking in terms that he and all Texans certainly understand. He can't have any fumbles, can't have any turnovers, can't have any drop passes, can't have any missed assignments. And that's what happened on yesterday. This is going to be a real test of the Trump base and what kind of support he really has. Because yesterday was a bad performance. Everybody knows it, if we're going to be honest with ourselves. It was a bad performance. Can't give the Democrats any momentum whatsoever. Cannot give the Democrats any momentum whatsoever. And boy, he fed the beast yesterday. That was the worst thing. Those that are full-time observers of President Donald know he had a bad day. He had a real bad day. But you can't be feeding the beast. We know about the hypocrisy. We know about the double standard that the jackasses are always exercising. The jackasses, the Democratic Party, for all of you new listeners and viewers of my program, jackass being the official mascot of the Democratic Party since 1828. So I refer to them as the jackasses, and they act like it on a consistent, daily, moment-by-moment basis. The jackasses, you know there's a double standard. We know Barack Insane Obama was absolutely over his head from the day he took the oath of office. We knew he was going to be over his head. I mean, what happened? What do you think is going to happen when you essentially elect a state senator from Illinois? He had only been in the U.S. Senate 2 years. And where had he served before? The Illinois State Senate. He was essentially an Illinois State Senate. We put him into the Oval. He's not exactly Abraham Lincoln, you know what I'm saying? And it was a disaster. It was a foreign policy disaster. Did they mess up on Russia? You bet. Talk about treason. I think $150 billion to the number one sponsor of terror on the globe, Iran, that's treasonous. Give them close to $2 billion in cash. Paying a ransom for hostages, that's treasonous. That's just downright stupid. That's moronic, which marked the entire presidency of Barack Insane Obama. Utter moron. Totally moronic. If anything was imbecilic, it was the Obama administration and everything he attempted to do. We know the double standard. We know that they were awful on Russia. We know that the Obama administration unleashed Russia onto the world, gave them a red carpet to do whatever they wanted to do. We know that. We know that Trump has been tougher on Russia than Barack Insane Obama. But you can't go out and have a bad day. Now with only a couple of months left until the midterms elections, when we know that the so-called blue wave is turning into a backyard kiddie wading pool. It's not going to be any blue wave, but you can't give them any fodder. You can't give them any ammunition. The president has to be like Emmanuel Macron. Perfect. It has to be perfect. You can't fumble. You can't have any turnovers. You can't have any unforced errors. This was a straight up unforced error. Those who argue and say, oh no, he doesn't prepare. He thinks he's a know-it-all. No, he showed himself for... Look, I don't care how talented you are in another field of expertise. In this case, when it comes to business, there is going to be a steep learning curve when you move into another line of work, especially the Oval. It's going to be a steep learning curve. And we learned on yesterday that Vlad Putin, that's been there for 20 years, he punked him. Let's just call it like it TI is. President Donald got punked. Let's just call it like it is. Let's just be truthful about it. He got punked. He had a bad day. I hope he hasn't blown the midterms. This is going to be a real test on how strong his support actually is. How really solid the Trumpians are. I mean, do they really have his back? Because that was embarrassing. That was totally embarrassing. You can't give Anderson Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs any ammunition. You can't give Donnie Sauer of the Communist News Network, you can't give him any ammunition. They're going to go to town on him. He's going to come out looking like, I mean, a beat down pinata is what he's going to look like. He's going to look like confetti on my floor. He's going to look like Butch got a hold of him. Like Butch does one of his little rag dog paws or whatever. Anything that's fabric, it gets ripped to pieces. It is if it's fabric, we have to get him like hard rubber toys, because if it's fabric, it will not last 15 minutes. Got him some toy supposed to be a guarantee, supposed to last for a while. Actually had the Doberman on the packaging, as if to say, this toy will withstand the tenacity of a Doberman. It lasted 10 minutes. Got a couple of good pictures of him with the thing in his mouth, but it was ripped. It was ripped to shreds. You can't give the left any ammunition at all. You can't do that. I know. It may be unfair to put those type of expectations on someone who's never held public office before. But you know what? He ran for it. He wanted it. So when I'm hammering him from the right, especially on border security, and the left is always hammering him, well then, dude, you signed up for it, and we're not going to give you a break just because you're super sensitive, and because you're narcissistic, and because you have an ego the size of Trump Tower. No, we're not going to let you slide, dude, because you're messing with our lives. You're messing with our pursuit of life, liberty, and prosperity. You're messing with us. So, well, yeah, you're better than Barack Hussein Obama, but then an armadillo from Amarillo in the Oval would have been better than Barack Hussein Obama. But we're not going to let you slide, dude. We're not going to let you slide. If you're messing up, we're going to tell you you're messing up. And when it comes to the border invasion, I've been hammering you, and today I got to come back and say yesterday was a complete whiff. It was a whiff. He whiffed. Putin threw him a hard-breaking slider, and he whiffed. That's all right, Donald. That's all right, bro. You can make up for it. Maybe he can make up for it. I don't know. I mean, the midterms, I hope he just didn't blow the midterms, because he looked bad yesterday. And you see the rhinos up there in Washington, Devil City, boy, they're doing a CYA. It's not so much that they have his back. It's not so much that they're trying to cover for him. No, they're doing a CYA for the midterms, for their seats, because he made everybody look bad yesterday. Everybody. Completely inexplicable. I think it had to be an utter misstatement. He muffed. He whiffed. He fumbled. Unforced error. Turnover. Can't have those, especially when the midterm is coming up. But I tell you this, I've learned a lot from President Donald, and I'm going to share with you what we all should have learned from President Donald. He's astonishing in many ways, and I'm actually going to give him some kudos. I'm actually going to give him some props. You're not going to want to miss this. You're not going to believe it. I'm actually going to give him some props. The Donald.
Can you do it? The RER 2+2 Challenge. Howdy, rowdy Texans. It's me, E, the millennial voice of RER. I'm a big fan of RagingElePhantsRadio.com. More Texas voters should be listening to RER every day. A better, deeper knowledge of how Texas works will help Texas voters to make Texas more like Texas. The RER 2+2 Challenge. Listen to RER 2 hours a day, every day, for 2 weeks. You'll learn more about Texas politics in 2 weeks than you've ever known. Mark it on your daily calendar. Set your phone alarm. The RER 2+2 Challenge. 2 hours a day, every day, for 2 weeks. RagingElePhantsRadio.com. The rebellious voice of Texas liberty.
Hey, this is Barry the Music Man with the Doc Green Show, and one of their most beloved sponsors is BDAC and Heat. I'll tell you what, last summer when it was hotter than heck, my air conditioner went south for the winter. So I called BDAC and Heat. He came out the next day and put in a new, quiet, efficient system. My electric bill dropped 50%. So if you have an AC problem, you need to give Gang a call. So call Gang on BD at 281-222-9591 or bdacandheat.com. 281-222-9591. Start saving money and be cool today.
Stop smoking and enjoy it. Electronic cigarette vaporizers. More than an actual product. This is the name of the company that's going to lead you to a tobacco-free life. Apostle Claver here. ECV is where I went to break my cigar usage. Now I'm a happy vape fan. Vaping, healthy, more socially acceptable. The new cool thing. No one's better in Texas to intro you to the world and tech of vaping than electronic cigarette vaporizers. Bart, Chantal, Max, and Chris will teach you every feature of the dozens of vaping devices to choose from. ECV has a cornucopia of flavors, from fruity to cookies or even tobacco, each made from all natural products. No carcinogens, no smoky smell, and the choice of nicotine levels. Slowly drop your nic level down to 0 and break your tobacco habit with no jitters or stress while enjoying relaxing inhalation. You've been wanting to do it, so do it. Stop smoking and enjoy it. Electronic cigarette vaporizers, 2755 Gessner in Houston. Call 713-939-8273. 713-939-VAPE or see the ad on RagingElePhantsRadio.com.
Green Air Technology will sanitize, sterilize, and defunkifies your home. Our treatment utilizes a high-output biocleaner to eradicate bacteria, germs, and airborne pathogens and allergens in any home, vehicle, or facility. So if your facility or home smells funky like a bow-legged monkey, call Green Air Technologies. We are dedicated to eliminating odor and airborne contaminants at home, at work, or even in your vehicle.
Now featuring Biosphere.
Call Jim Green at 346-254-9217 or go to greenairtech.com. 346-254-9217 or go to greenairtech.com.
When Andrew Jackson ran for president in 1828, his opponents called him a jackass. Jackson liked the image so much, it became the mascot of the new Democratic Party.
Hey, this is Claver. I want to take a few seconds to give you some words of encouragement. Go after the dream. Some of you have embraced the dream of having your own talk show. Congratulations. You've got a lot to say, and you have the confidence to believe you can do a great job. You should start on RagingElePhantsRadio.com. Purchasing your own block time is cheap. Yeah, a lot cheaper than your local terrestrial station for sure. And we don't leave you to sink or swim. Consultation on how to get up and running is part of our service to you as an RER independent producer. Shoot me an email, info@RagingElePhantsRadio.com. info@RagingElePhantsRadio.com. I'll send you a full media kit. Launch that dream right now with RagingElePhantsRadio.com.
You're enjoying Apostle Claver T. Kamau-Imani on RagingElePhantsRadio.com.
That's Claver, your favorite political flavor. Always giving it to you straight, no chaser. Welcome, Saints and Patriots, to the rebellious voice of Texas Liberty, your Texas network, RagingElePhantsRadio.com. Be sure to download the RER app. Had some difficulty with the launching of our new broadcast activist, H. Scott Apley. Scott actually came over to my studio on Saturday, so we think we have all of his technical issues ironed out. And we're going to relaunch Scott Apley at 8 o'clock on tomorrow, hopefully, if we don't have any conflicts with his daytime schedule. I don't think we are. You're going to like H. Scott Apley. Young dude. Rock solid, liberty-driven Texan. Inject some youth into the rebellious voice. That's always a good thing. I'm going to say this. I'm on a roll. I'm actually saying good things about President the Donald. I actually ended the last segment by saying good things about President the Donald. And I'm going to say something good about him right now. I got to tell you guys, I don't know if you've had the opportunity to observe anyone of his stature and achievement so closely before in your life. I don't recall having the privilege of watching someone with the level of success that Donald Trump has had in his life. Watch how he operates in his life. I am astonished how he conducts his schedule on a daily basis to be a billionaire versus how my daily schedule goes, how your daily schedule goes. That may be the most valuable thing I've been able to observe about President the Donald, about 45. The level of activity that he has to engage in from sun up to sundown. Look, I can't have any self-pity anymore about me working 19 hours in a day. I can't complain anymore, because in order to achieve what I want to achieve, it seems to me that that's sort of a norm. I chose not to punch a clock. I decided to take a risk. I've always been that way. I just like signing the front of the checks, not just the back of the checks. I like signing the front and the back of the checks. You know what I mean? The thing that I've noticed is how he conducts his affair, how he conducts business. I've learned a lot. And I can't have a pity party about my workload, because this guy absolutely dives into it every single day. Whether he had a good day, bad day, if yesterday was a bad day, he's up the next day and he's rocking and rolling again. Now, some of us may not have like the intestinal fortitude. We may not have our internal souls trained to be able to operate like that. But for those of us who have high aspirations, who do have laudable ambitions, praiseworthy ambitions, hey, watching this guy operate, it is a tutorial on how to be successful. We've been burned so many times. Well, certainly in the previous administration, the electorate putting somebody in office who's never achieved anything in their lives. Barack Hussein Obama never achieved anything. It's not of consequence. He was a Rudy Poo. He still is a Rudy Poo. Everything about him was Rudy Poo. Everybody he surrounded himself with was Rudy Poo with questionable ethics. Some would say absolutely amoral they were. Couldn't learn a doggone thing from Barack Hussein Obama. Some sort of great communicator. Take that teleprompter away. And we all saw what an absolute lackluster, pathetic communicator he actually is. Take that teleprompter away. Take away the Roman columns and the fireworks and Mile High Stadium and the fawning fans, people fainting in Berlin. Take all that away, and he's nothing. Literally nothing. Never achieved anything ever in his life. Do you think he ever signed the front of a paycheck? No, unless it was to his illegal immigrant housekeeper. Well, they probably paid cash. I don't know. That is the greatest thing I have learned from President Donald. I am super critical of him because, well, he's not a conservative. He's a populist. He does conservative things, but let's not be confused. He's not liberty-driven. He's not a classic conservative. He's a populist. And with populism, it's kind of like the Forrest Gump. It's kind of like Forrest Gump policy making. Box of chocolates. You don't know what you're going to get when it comes to policies. You may get tariffs. You may get universal child care, government, subsidized, mandatory family leave. You get the combining of the education department with the labor department, which is absolutely, totally communist. That's not even socialist. That's straight up communist. Talked about that with Alice Linehan last week. That was a total communist move. The advancement of Common Core, the unleashing of private-public partnerships, the P3s that we're fighting here when it comes to transportation that we don't want in the Lone Star State. Well, Donald Trump's transportation plan unleashes P3s all over the nation. No, he's not a conservative, he's a populist. But I have to say, if I've learned anything from him, conducting your affairs on a day-to-day basis, dude, I can't compete. I need to try to catch up. No wonder he's worth 10 figures.
RER Cross is the Christian programming of RagingElephantsRadio.com. Here's a sample from Pastor Keenan Smith.
See, however, though, I believe the White House is supposed to stand as the people's house for all individuals. So I believe it is sinful and wrong for the White House to spend tens of hundreds of thousands of your tax dollars to bathe the White House in rainbow colors, celebrating their victory. So let me say this, that we expect an unregenerated individual to act lost. Lost people act lost. We expect that. We even expect them to embrace or promote or even applaud homosexuality and other ungodly practices because that's where they are in life. We understand that. The question is not do they act lost, but do we act found?
Enjoy Pastor Keenan Smith, 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. Sundays on RER Cross, right here on RagingElephantsRadio.com.
Hey, Barry the Music Man here for Tejas Smoke Depot. They have everything you need when it comes to smoke. Check out the 150 square foot walk-in humidor filled with a huge selection of fine cigars. Or give them a call at 830-990-1472 and order up what you want. Maybe you like to roll your own. They have it. Maybe you need a gift for a smoker in the family. How about a new pipe? They have a large selection, even a cross-section of great beers in stock. In a hurry, come by and use the drive-thru. Located at 1639 West Highway 290 in Fredericksburg, Texas. Out of town? Visit them at the website, TejasSmokeDepot.com, or call 830-990-1472. That's 830-990-1472. It's smoking.
The happiest happy hour on the H-Town West Side. Introducing the Texas Tea Tavern. Texas Tea. The longest happy hour. 12 noon to 7 p.m. Monday through Saturday. $3.75 domestic drafts. $8 domestic pitchers. $4 wells. $5 grapies for the ladies. Texas Tea. Texas Tea is the West Side after work chill out place. They have this massive door that opens up to a relaxed lawn and patio. Day or night, this time of year, it's marvelous for sipping in convo. Texas Tea. Video poker tournaments all through the week. Tuesday, Texas Trivia. Wednesday, bring your axe. It's open jam night. Live music every Saturday night on the huge stage. Karaoke Sunday nights. Texas Tea. Mudbugs could be boiling in the outdoor kitchen. If you're hungry, the classy food cart on the newly paved parking lot serves $3 tacos that are big as your head. Texas Tea. A safe place for ladies to venture solo. Open every night until 2 a.m. Texas Tea. Easy to find. 1535 Brickmore, a stone's throw from City Center. You may see me there. Get more info. Click the ad on RagingElephantsRadio.com.
Miss Capelli?
Yes, I'd like to be on a commercial.
And what will you be advertising?
GoDaddy.com. Oh my gosh. It's a website where you can register .com names for only $7.95 a year.
And what exactly will you be doing on this commercial?
I could do a routine where I went like this.
Surely by now you must realize that you're upsetting the committee.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to upset the committee.
May I suggest a turtleneck?
Visit GoDaddy.com through the RER Marketplace. The battle for liberty rages in every Texas community, none more so than in the nation's fourth largest city, Houston, Texas. A tyrannical mayor denies the right to vote to the citizens of the city, signs executive orders that violate the Texas Constitution and the charter of the city, and issues subpoenas for the sermons of pastors. And when the frontline leaders against the mayor's totalitarian agenda wanted a broadcast partner for their Faith, Family, and Freedom tour, who did they request? RagingElephantsRadio.com.
There are a lot of great folks that we owe a big debt of gratitude for promoting this issue from day one. I want to recognize my friend Claver and the folks over at Raging Elephants over here. He was on it from day one. about this issue. And so thank you, Claver, for never giving in, never backing down, and continuing to be that loud conservative voice.
RagingElePhantsRadio.com, the rebellious voice of Texas liberty. Information, communication, action. RagingElePhantsRadio.com.
Just having fun talking Texas Liberty 411. Claver, your favorite political flavor. Always giving it to you straight, no chaser. I don't like video. I do not like video. I'm doing video only because you people are making me do it. I didn't like it in college. You know, we had one of those little play studios, TV studios. You know, the cameras where we learn how to work the board and all of that, you know. And they put me on the anchor desk, and I saw me on video, and I said, hey, I look pretty good on television. Everybody said, yeah, Claver, you actually look pretty good. But I gotta be honest, I didn't like TV. I did an intern at Channel 6 for a while. I didn't like it. But when it came to getting behind the microphone, when it came to doing radio, when it came to doing audio, I loved it. I love it. But you people are making me do video. I'm doing this for you. I'm absolutely being tortured doing video. I cannot do the program anymore in my pajamas. Never mind nude. Forget it. I can't do it nude. I literally have to brush my teeth before I come on the program. This is ridiculous. I have to think about what I'm going to wear. Although I don't think a whole lot about it, I have to think about what am I going to wear. You people, such a demanding audience. Now, the last couple of weeks I've been hammering President Donald about the border invasion. But when you have 350,000, approximately, to be more accurate, 354,000 people invading the Texas border. I didn't say including New Mexico, Arizona, or the People's Republic of California. I said just Texas in FY 2018. That means from October 1, 2017 until June 30, 2018, approximately 354,000 invaders have crossed into Texas. I didn't say the entire United States. I said just Texas. Now, to remind you what we're dealing with, I'm going to go back to the interview that was done a couple of weeks ago on the Foxies, way before you get up early and before you get up in the morning. The 4 a.m. program is where this was aired. The 4 a.m. program, Texas time. And this is a Border Patrol agent by the name of Brandon Judd, and he represents the National Council, or the National Border Patrol Council. And that interview that he did on the Foxes at 4 a.m. in the morning was remarkable, very revealing. For instance, how many of the invaders get away? And that's how we come up with these numbers. Hear it for yourself.
Yeah, well, after he was elected, the numbers went down. They called it the Trump effect, and now we're back up to something like 600,000 arrests a year, about 50,000 a month. That's just who is caught crossing the border, according to the numbers. Do we know how many people are getting by?
We don't know exactly the numbers that get by, but we do have an estimation. Border Patrol agents go out and we do count what we call gotaways. Unfortunately, if you look at it, Border Patrol agents will tell you that we're probably about 50 to 60% effective. So between 40 and 50% of those people that cross the border illegally are still getting away from us. So we arrest 50,000, but 50,000 are getting by, and that should be extremely concerning. But again, all you have to do is look at the failed operations and policies. When we're only deploying, the Washington Times did a great article 2 or 3 months ago where they reported that McAllen, our busiest Border Patrol station, was only deploying about 12.5% of our resources on the border. That's just not going to get it done.
Only 1/6 of resources are being put down there on the border to stop the border invasion. And I've been hard on the president over the last couple of weeks. I mean, the next time he has a rally, the next time he has a press avail, he's probably going to throw it out there on everybody again. We're going to spend $700 billion on rebuilding our military this year, and we're going to spend another $716 billion next. That's $1.4 trillion over the next 2 years for U.S. national defense, and the country is being invaded and conquered by an invading army of toddlers in dirty diapers. $1.4 trillion. $1.4 trillion in national defense to rebuild the military, and everybody is screaming, build the wall, when they should be screaming, send in the Marines, send in the Marines. It's an invasion. At the heights of the Afghanistan and Iraqi wars, the surges, there was only 250,000 military combat personnel and support staff in those theaters. 250. And so far this year, in just 9 months, 3 months left, if my government schooling math has taught me anything, 3 months left, and we're already at 354,000. This man just said that it's a 50-50 proposition, that if 50% are getting caught, if 50,000 are getting caught, then 50,000 are getting away. The gotaways. 50,000 got away. 100,000, everybody can do their government school math. Well, Saints and Patriots, if 177,000 have been apprehended per ICE's own website, then that means 177,000 got away. Government math says 354,000 in 9 months of FY 2018. Now, put the blame firmly on President Donald, and I'm putting the blame firmly on Governor Greg Abbott. He campaigned as the governor with the spine of steel. No, it's a spine of overcooked linguine. Governor Abbott's governing style is very simple. Do the easy thing. These guys don't want to close the border. They have no intention of closing the border, and he campaigned on it. Greg Abbott is pathetic. No, let me prove it to you. Here's his TV ad for the 2014 campaign. Border security.
Together we can secure our border, keeping Texans safe from drug cartels and gangs that are importing crime to our state.
Barack Obama won't secure the border, but Greg Abbott will. He'll double the funding for the Department of Public Safety and hire 500 more state troopers for border security.
I will never stop fighting, and that's why I'm asking you to elect me as your next governor.
Pitiful. No, should I play it again? Because, this guy's going to get elected again in November. Oh, I will never stop fighting. He never started fighting. The truth is, leading up to that 2014 election, Dirty Diaper Invasion 1.0 down there in the RGV, Liberty Movement influencers were begging Rick Perry to call a special session to deal with Dirty Diaper Invasion 1.0. And you know who stopped it? Greg Abbott. Greg Abbott. When it came to the border invasion in 2015, Dirty Diaper Invasion 2.0. After the 2015 legislative session in the summer, we begged him, will you please call a special session and deal with the border invasion? Would he do it? He did not. He's a liar. He's a deceiver. Now, I want you to hear it again. Didn't he say in his campaign, we're going to shut down the border? Barack Obama. Well, you know what? If President Donald isn't doing his constitutional duty and protecting us from enemies, foreign and domestic, then it's up to Greg Abbott, Dan Patrick, Joe Strauss, Ken Paxton, Little Georgie P.P. et al. To get the job done, and they're not.
Together we can secure our border, keeping Texans safe from drug cartels and gangs that are importing crime to our state.
Barack Obama won't secure the border, but Greg Abbott will. He'll double the funding for the Department of Public Safety and hire 500 more state troopers for border security.
I will never stop fighting, and that's why I'm asking you to elect me as your next governor.
Are you happy about this? Because these guys are pounding their chest, especially Dan Patrick, saying, oh, we sent $1.8 billion. We appropriated $1.8 billion for border security. $1.8 billion. Does that sound like a lot of money to you? That's less than the net worth of President Donald. $1.8 billion. In real Texas terms, Texas expenditures, that's 0.5% of the total Texas budget. 0.5, not even 1%. 0.5 of the money that Texas spends. 0.5. You think they're serious about border security? You think they're serious about protecting Texans? You think Governor Spina Steele is trying to fulfill his campaign promises? And then after he won in 2014, come January 2015, in his first legislative session, he made it his fourth emergency item for that legislative session. No, I'm going to play you the sound so you can hear it directly from his mouth.
Our first and foremost obligation is to protect our citizens' safety. We cannot be naive to the threat posed by drug cartels, transnational gangs, and human smuggling and trafficking operations. The first step in securing our border is enforcing the rule of law. That's why I have a comprehensive border security plan. My plan more than doubles the spending on securing the border. It adds 500 new state troopers, more Texas Rangers who can focus on corruption, more funding for local law enforcement. This legislation is essential, which is why I'm declaring border security funding as my fourth emergency item.
My goodness. And what was that funding? $1.8 billion. That's a doubling? So we go to 0.25% of government expenditure for border security to 0.5, a doubling. Are you happy that the fact 354,000 illegal invaders have just breaststroked through the Rio Grande since October 1, 2017? 354,000. Who cares whether they came from Mexico, Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua, the Congo, South Africa, Eritrea, Iran? We don't care. 354,000 have invaded Texas since October 1, 2017. Now, who do you blame? Whose fault is it? And we can't wait for the wall to be built.
Need to book a flight? Check out cheapoair.com. Cheapo Air offers you the fastest way to compare and book on over 450 flights worldwide. In fact, with Cheapo Air, you can travel out and back on 2 different airlines to get a better deal on flights to more than 2,000 destinations across the globe. You can even look at alternate dates and airports to see if their low fares can get any lower. Plus, Cheapo Air gives you the freedom to change your travel plans within 24 hours of booking. If something comes up, just give them a call. They'll take it from there. Cheapo Air makes it easy to save. Search their site, select your flight, and book, just like that. Your next trip is just a phone call, app search, or website visit away. Plus, with Cheapo Air, you can book with confidence. Because with Cheapo Air's best price guarantee, you know you're getting your very best deal every time. Just give them a call. They'll take it. Thinking flights? Think Cheapo Air.
Visit Cheapo Air through the RER Marketplace.
RER Cross is the Christian programming of RagingElePhantsRadio.com. Pastor Stephen Broden is a featured Bible teacher.
What runs interference with God's instructive word are Satan, the world, and the flesh. Out of these three comes doubt, fear, and unbelief. Doubt and fear leads to unbelief. Unbelief, more than any other sin, is targeted towards the very character and integrity of God Himself. It challenges God's promises, His stated purposes, and casts dispersion on His plan for you and all who believe. This is what Satan did in the Garden of God with Adam and Eve. Satan led them to believe God was holding back on them and was untruthful about the consequences if they ate from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil.
Enjoy Pastor Stephen Broden, 9:30 a.m. and 9:30 p.m. Sundays on RER Cross, right here on RagingElePhantsRadio.com.
Green Air technology will sanitize, sterilize, and defunkifies your home. Our treatment utilizes a high-output biocleaner to eradicate bacteria, germs, and airborne pathogens and allergens in any home, vehicle, or facility. So if your facility or home smells funky like a bow-legged monkey, call Green Air Technologies. We are dedicated to eliminating odor and airborne contaminants at home, at work, or even in your vehicle.
Now featuring Biosphere.
Call Jim Green at 346-254-9217 or go to greenairtech.com. 346-254-9217 or go to greenairtech.com.
The happiest happy hour on the H-Town West Side. Introducing the Texas Tea Tavern. Texas Tea. The longest happy hour. 12 noon to 7 p.m. Monday through Saturday. $3.75 domestic drafts. $8 domestic pitchers. $4 wells. $5 grapies for the ladies. Texas Tea. Texas Tea is the West Side after work chill out place. They have this massive door that opens up to a relaxed lawn and patio. Day or night, this time of year, it's marvelous for sipping in convo. Texas Tea. Video poker tournaments all through the week. Tuesday, Texas Trivia. Wednesday, bring your axe. It's open jam night. Live music every Saturday night on the huge stage. Karaoke Sunday nights. Texas Tea. Mud bugs could be boiling in the outdoor kitchen. If you're hungry, the classy food cart on the newly paved parking lot serves $3 tacos that are big as your head. Texas Tea. A safe place for ladies to venture solo. Open every night until 2 a.m. Texas Tea. Easy to find. 1535 Brickmore, a stone's throw from City Center. You may see me there. Get more info. Click the ad on RagingElePhantsRadio.com. What do you care about Washington, D.C.? D.C. doesn't care about you. You're a Texan. You're a Texan above all else. And there's only one radio station that's going to feed your need for Texas power and independence. RagingElePhantsRadio.com. Finally, the Patriots of the Lone Star State have a unified voice to fight back and organize. 24/7, 365. RagingElePhantsRadio.com is going to give you what you need to know about Texas politics, liberty, and independence. Take us wherever you go. RagingElePhantsRadio.com. Streaming on your computer, smartphone, tablet, and Internet Auto.
Get to know Texas politics. RagingElePhantsRadio.com.
Welcome back, Saints and Patriots, to the rebellious voice of Texas Liberty. Later on today's program, my main man Gregory Parker is going to join me. Do you know what red flag laws are? Well, Gregory Parker and other Liberty Movement influencers aren't happy about the advancement of red flag laws when it comes to our God-given right to defend ourselves, as advocated by Governor Spine of Steel, so he says. So a little bit later on, Gregory Parker, but right now, it's my main lady, one of my main ladies. It's Terry Hall of Texas Turf, TexasTurf.org. Terry Hall, the preeminent transportation expert for the Liberty Movement, and that's why she is a Raging Elephants radio contributor for transportation. Terry, mother of 10, how are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great. So happy to have you on today. And
thank you.
We never know exactly what Terry's going to have for us. At least I don't. But it's always something pertinent and something critical and something vital. Sometimes it's actually good news. Many times.
Exactly.
Many times, most of the time, it's bad news. Because transportation is a primary vehicle of tyranny, unfortunately, here in the Lone Star State. Freedom of movement is often overlooked or isn't given much priority or value. But there's a lot of excessive taxation, abusive taxation going on here in the Lone Star State dealing with transportation. Tip of the spear of stopping that is Terry Hall of Texas Turf. Terry, what in the world's going on now in your world of Texas transportation, or even national, because you watch what happens in Washington, Devil City, too?
Oh, yes. So there actually is something going on the federal level that's good news. Can you believe that?
No.
Last week, our own Texas Senator Ted Cruz, I should say U.S. Senator, but he's from Texas, and Marco Rubio, along with Senator Mike Lee, all filed what used to be just Mike Lee's bill called the Transportation Empowerment Act. And this would basically, over about a period of 10 years, would reduce the federal gasoline tax down to eventually a maintenance level of like 3 cents a gallon or something.
Whoa.
And it would basically require the states to say, hey, they either decide to step in and keep that tax rate about the same, but use it as on the state level, or they actually could lower your tax and not compensate for that reduction in the federal tax at all, but most of them probably would keep it about the same, would be my guess.
Right.
But the big thing is that cuts all your federal strings attached to your funding, which is one of our big problems.
Now wait a minute. Did they
across
know
the
that?
Country.
Terry, did they know that when they offered this proposal? Do they know that by lowering the taxes, that it's going to cut the funding stream, the strings that make the state governments kowtow to the centralized control of Washington when it comes to transportation?
Right, exactly. That's exactly the point of this bill. A lot of people call it the devolution bill, meaning it devolves the role of transportation squarely to the states, and there would be very little role on the federal level left to play. Mostly they would go into maintenance mode for the federal aid highway system. Federal aid just means any highway that was built with federal dollars, which means our U.S. highways, our interstate, and frankly, most of our state highways were built with some federal money along the way. But at the end of the day, it does give an enormous amount of control back to the states. And what we love the most in this bill, which most people probably don't read far enough into the bill to see this sort of stuff, the most wonderful thing, if all of that isn't good enough for you, they get rid of the MPOs. Let's talk about what those are a minute.
Wait,
these are the metropolitan.
The MPOs, the ones that you're always talking about, are just out of control.
Yes.
Wait, I thought that was a state-established thing. This is a national established thing?
They were originally created in a federal highway bill years ago. I want to say it was back in the 70s, okay?
Right.
And what it does is it's the feds. Remember, the feds can only compel you to a certain degree, and they do everything by your money, right? They control the federal money that comes back to you by saying that they put these rules or strings attached to it. So in order for us to get our federal gasoline tax, the state had to establish these MPOs as the way to funnel those federal dollars to local projects. So that's how it all began. But yes, the governor has a role to play in establishing the MPOs on the state level. But it was only because they were basically forced to and had their hands tied behind their backs to say, hey, if you want to have any control whatsoever over how your federal dollars get spent in your state, you have to establish these MPOs. So it's a metropolitan planning organization is what the MPO stands for. And they are little mini federal bureaucracies. There's 25 of them in Texas alone. There's, hundreds across the state. Across the country. But they have gotten so out of control not just here in Texas, but literally across the country. What they've become is a vehicle for liberal local governments to just absolutely impose with their strong arm of government, their social engineering plans for cities across the country. Whether you want to call it Agenda 21, if you want to call it, social engineering, there's lots of different terms for this. But at the end of the day, it's the tool of the progressives on the left to tax you out of your car or make it so miserable for you to have car, so expensive or miserable for you to own a car that they force you to change your behavior and get into mass transit or have to ride a bike or walk to get everywhere you need to go. That's why we see all these dedicated bike lanes, all these bus lanes. That's why we're seeing hostility to cars and auto-centric travel. That's why we're seeing this, restricted lanes, whether it's using tolls or any other mechanism they can. To me, tolls have become the new carbon tax of these urban liberal mayors, because they want to punish you for daring to drive around solo in your own car. They want to make you change your behavior and have to do, carpooling, walking, or riding a bike to get anywhere, or rely on mass transit, which of course relies on the government to shuttle you around instead of you having freedom and liberty of your own individual rights to get where you want to go and how you want to do it. So these MPOs are how they implement this. And they have all these strings attached to the money. They, in fact, have a whole federal program, the Surface Transportation Block Grant Program, which this bill that Senator Cruz and Lee and Rubio have filed would put an end to this. They would no longer be mandated to have to, every time they expand a highway, they have to include all modes of transportation, quote, quote, in that expansion, or they can't use the federal money on it. So that means they have to accommodate bicyclists and pedestrians on every single highway expansion project. That's why you see the bike lanes. That's why you see walking trails going in next to highways, no less, where it's not even a safe or even a good place to put walkers. You don't want people walking along highways if you can help it, because you got high-speed cars that can obviously hurt pedestrians in those kinds of conditions. So at the end of the day, this bill would also take away mandatory emissions testing, which for you in Houston and in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, that's huge.
But now, wait a minute, just as an aside, I don't want to cut your role right there, Terry, but wasn't there an effort, I think, by State Senator Don Huffines to stop vehicle inspection altogether?
Yes. Now that, I believe, is different than your emissions testing. Only in areas that the federal government, through the EPA, has designated as non-attainment.
You have to pass the emissions in order to get the inspection. You have to pass the emissions in order to get the inspection sticker.
But that's only in areas where there's non-attainment, which is Dallas-Fort Worth and Houston. I can't remember if Austin's in there. I know that Austin and San Antonio, if they're not a non-attainment right now, but they're real close. But from what I understand, it's only the Metroplex in Houston that has to pay this emissions tax, is what I call it, because that's what it's done. It hasn't done hardly anything to actually reduce emissions. All it is it's become another tax on driving and more complicated. And it's supposed to allow you to have more highway dollars available to you for urban congestion projects. But there's so many strings attached to those funds as well, and they're so limited in how you can use them, that this bill by Cruz and Lee and Rubio would actually cut those strings attached, take away all those mandates. You wouldn't have to do emissions testing. And everyone else outside of those two areas also has to pass that vehicle inspection. And that's what Huffines has been working to get rid of as well, because that is another tax on driving that is, he actually has very demonstrable data to show has not done anything to improve vehicle safety or highway safety. It's just a tax. So this is a very bold bill that's been put out. Lee used to just file it all the time solo, but it's kind of a big deal that this time around he's got Marco Rubio and Senator Cruz to file it with him on the Senate side. We're still waiting to see how they're going to approach the House on this. Used to be a great guy, Representative DeSantis out of Florida in Congress, who used to file this on the House side. It's what they call the devolution bill, where they basically devolve the federal program and give it back to the states. But he's running for governor of the state of Florida right now, so I don't know what his plans are, but we're working on that, of seeing how we might get this to have a House sponsor and see if we can't get some legs. So what we'd love to have your audience do is call your member of Congress, both senators and your member of Congress. So that means your congressman or woman that you have elected to represent you in D.C., and ask them to co-sponsor this bill. If it's in the House, then they should file the bill. If it's in the Senate, they need to co-sponsor Senator Cruz's bill. And I'd sure like to see what John Cornyn's response to all this would be.
With talking with Terry Hall of Texas Turf, just real quickly, Terry, back on the MOPs, I'm thinking that if this bill is going to eliminate those, transportation deep state is going to be pushing back hard. Is there any evidence of that as of yet? I mean, there's going to be some static on this. Whenever you bust up the status quo, whenever you introduce something that's disrupted, there's going to be some pushback. But is it out of the eye of the public so much that perhaps it'll sail through? Or there's got to be somebody that's going to want to swing knuckles over this, Terry, because that's a lot of centralized control to be given up if you're going to get rid of these metropolitan these MPOs. These
they have
municipal planning
pretty much like every organization in government, they have their own associations that basically lobby and represent them. There's a state association of MPOs. I'm almost positive there's a national association of MPOs that represent the quote interests of the MPOs, which of course means they're not representing the interest of you and I and John Q. Public, because these MPOs have demonstrated that they're hostile to the public, to their public input. They're hostile to our elected officials. They're hostile to anyone that doesn't follow and step in line with their progressive leftist agenda of how they think people ought to get around and move about our cities. So the number one pushback, frankly, to Senators Hall and Huffines, when they've been trying all that time since they got elected, 4 years for both of them, to work to get LBJ East expanded without tolls, like they were elected to do. They campaigned on it. They were elected with that as their, campaign promise, and trying to fulfill that promise to their constituents. The number one pushback came from the MPO up in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, which is called the Regional Transportation Council. That's what they call it in the DFW Metroplex, because it's basically a mega MPO.
Terry,
and it's huge.
They're out of control up there. You've been teaching us for so long. The combination of that MPO versus the toll authority, it's they're just trampling on commuters up there in the DFW area. The tolling up there is just absolutely excessive, and it's getting out of hand, and it seems that no one is putting a check on them. We're trying. I mean, you're holding the governor's feet to the fire, but people may not know. I mean, it's some serious headbutting going on. It's serious warfare, because you're talking about billions of dollars going into coffers and into
I want to say it took the governor 3 letters from his Transportation Commission chair, Bruce Bugg, to the RTC, which is their MPO up there, to tell them, you don't seem to understand the word no. We said no more tolls. That means you've got to go back to the drawing board and shuffle money around and reprioritize projects to get this thing funded without tolls. Am I clear? What about this do you not get? I mean, that's essentially what Bruce Bugg, the chair of the Texas Transportation Commission, had to keep reiterating to this RCC that would not take the governor's answer, the 2 elected senators for that area's answer for it. They honestly think that they are an entity unto themselves. These are unelected bureaucracies that literally are running roughshod over our elected officials. We have a serious problem with these MPOs. And I would like nothing better than to see this bill pass in some form. If nothing else survives, if you get rid of the MPOs, you already gain a ton more control over your personal travel freedoms, because it's gonna shut out this bureaucratic system. Now, the bill still says that they have to coordinate with your local officials and your local governments, because obviously you're going to coordinate federal, state, and local with most of these types of things, like your highways. So there is going to be some level of cooperation that has to happen there. But it's certainly not going to be these full-time staffers getting paid 6-figure incomes to basically put the screws to the traveling public with the social engineering schemes of the left and punishing you for daring to drive solo in your own car.
We're talking with Terry Hall. Terry, I need to take a break right here, but I'm pretty sure that you've got some more 411 for us dealing with Texas liberty and certainly our freedom to get from point A to point B. Transportation in Texas and nationwide is a primary instrument of tyranny, limiting our freedom of mobility. It is essential for us to prosper. It is essential for us to care for ourselves and to enjoy our lives. We need to be able to move around, and it shouldn't have a high cost factor. Terry Hall is trying to make that keep that a reality. I don't know, man. It's kind of high right now. I mean, Terry is wonderful. Don't cut the stream. We still got Gregory Parker coming up to talk about gun control and your ability to defend yourselves. If you're not listening, you're not learning. Don't cut the stream. RagingElePhantsRadio.com. Automobile aficionado, Apostle Claver here. Let me introduce you to my mechanic, an ASC certified mechanic, Andre at America's Repair in Houston. Now, you guys know I'm a former fully sponsored race car driver, and I own a high-performance auto. You bet I'm particular about who even touches my car. I go to America's Repair to get all my auto work done, and you should too. Andre has served Spring Branch and all of Houston for over 20 years. America's Repair will match or beat any competitor's price. All repairs come with a 1-year, 12,000-mile warranty. America's Repair is a complete car care and repair center. State inspection, muffler and exhaust work, wheel alignment, brake work, tune-ups, engine transmission work, auto body and paint. Great deals on oil change and AC checkup. America's Repair accepts all extended warranties. 2005 North Gessner, 1 mile north of Memorial City Mall in the Katy. Wednesday is senior citizen discounts. Thursday, active military discount. Call 713-467-2001. 713-467-2001. AmericasRepair.com. Or click the ad on RagingElePhantsRadio.com.
When Andrew Jackson ran for president in 1828, his opponents called him a jackass. Jackson liked the image so much, it became the mascot of the new Democratic Party.
Maintaining your home air conditioner is just as important as maintenance on your car. You don't know the big difference there's going to be until you've had the work done. I thought my system was working fine, but now it's better than ever. Galen Beatty did it for me, and he'll do it for you. Good servicing will not only keep your system performing well during the sweltering summers here in Houston, but it will save you money year after year. In my case, it cut my AC power consumption by 20%. Do what I did. Have Galen Beatty set up regular AC maintenance to cut your energy bill and prevent system failure at the worst time. And what's better than being comfortable and saving money? Whether you need a basic tune-up or it's time to put in a new super efficient system, you should call BD AC 281-222-9591. That's 281-222-9591 to schedule an AC system tune-up. BD AC and Heat. That's BEEDE ACandHeat.com. BDACandHeat.com.
Hartman, the power of proven results.
One of the premier property management companies in Texas, providing below-market rates with above-market amenities and service. Hartman has owned and operated commercial office properties since 1983, offering premium office space at an affordable price by saving businesses a significant amount of money by keeping taxes, utilities, and maintenance low. With over 30 years in commercial leasing in Houston, San Antonio, and Dallas, we have learned exactly what our customers require.
Hartman, the power of proven results.
Managed on Christian principles with a strong dedication to community benevolence. Whether you need 1,000 or 10,000 square foot of office space, Hartman has that space in one of nearly 50 Texas locations.
Hartman, the power of proven results.
Energy efficient buildings, customer-friendly experts, supporters of conservative causes. A Texas-owned and operated business for 30 years. A proud corporate sponsor of RagingElePhantsRadio.com.
Hartman, the power of proven results.
Visit Hartman online, hi-REIT.com. Call 800-880-2212 or click the ad on RagingElePhantsRadio.com.
Can you do it? The RER 2+2 Challenge. Howdy, rowdy Texans. It's me, E, the millennial voice of RER. I'm a big fan of RagingElePhantsRadio.com. More Texas voters should be listening to RER every day. A better, deeper knowledge of how Texas works will help Texas voters to make Texas more like Texas. The RER 2+2 Challenge. Listen to RER 2 hours a day, every day, for 2 weeks. You'll learn more about Texas politics in 2 weeks than you've ever known. Mark it on your daily calendar. Set your phone alarm. The RER 2+2 Challenge. 2 hours a day, every day, for 2 weeks. RagingElePhantsRadio.com. The rebellious voice of Texas liberty.
Numbers equal power. Spread the word about RagingElePhantsRadio.com.
Hey, what's up, Saints and Patriots? Apostle Claver T. Kamau-Imani. Coming up in just a few minutes is going to be Gregory Parker out of Montgomery County, former county commissioner from Comal County, and still very much active in the political sphere here in the Lone Star State. Right now, it's Raging Elephants Radio contributor Terry Hall of Texas Turf. The website is Texas Turf. That's TURF.org. She deals with transportation. She's our transportation contributor. Terry, we only have a few minutes left. I don't know if you want to continue reporting on this, if you got something else you want to go into that we need to know about. You usually have 3 or 4, 5, 10 different nuggets you can share with us.
That's absolutely true, but I want to make sure that your listeners know what the name of it. I don't have the bill number because the press release just referred to it as the Transportation Empowerment Act, and just took me right to the bill from that link. But it's the Transportation Empowerment Act filed by Senator Cruz, Mike Lee, and Marco Rubio, and we want you to call to ask your member of Congress and Senator Cornyn, our other Texas senator, to co-sponsor this bill. That's what it's going to take to get the traction needed to actually see this become reality. We can have great ideas all day long. We can have a great bill filed all day long, but we want to see this thing get across the finish line. And this is an issue that is important to both parties. It has the opportunity to get some bipartisan support in the midst of some very rancorous political times we're in between the Supreme Court nominee and the other things going on with foreign policy. This is an area where we can hopefully gain some real traction, get them discussing something that is common to everybody, and hopefully get it across the finish line before the midterms. That would be wonderful.
Have you gotten any smoke signals from the White House? Do you think the president is inclined to sign this transportation legislation, this reduction? He likes cutting taxes. This is a cut in the fuel tax.
You would sure think so. I don't know what the officials are from the White House on this. Lee has filed this before in the past. And I can tell you that Heritage Foundation, a lot of these conservative think tanks and such have already put out statements of support for this. So there's a lot of conservative groups that, we reliably look to in a lot of ways, to help judge this type of legislation for us. All these guys have already come out in favor of it. I've read it cover to cover. So, I think it's got great potential. It's just going to take, I think, the grassroots really pushing. Because as you said, there's all these special interests on the other side that don't want to see an end to their power. This is how the left gets everything done. They do it with bureaucracy and the courts. And they take all the power out of the hands of the people and our elected officials. So this would be a huge step forward for transportation to actually see this bill in some form. Now, and they've been actually very flexible about it. They said, look, there's a lot of people that like to poke holes in this when I was speaking with Senator Lee's office about it. But let's open up the dialogue. Let's hear what your ideas are if it's not this. Because all of them admit, when you talk to members of Congress privately, that the Highway Trust Fund is broke, literally. They do not bring in enough money to even cover what they spend on the highway program today.
The national
That's
government,
right.
The national government
That's right.
highway fund, just like Social Security is broke, Medicare and
That's
Medicaid
right.
is going broke. Yeah.
And they don't have any solutions. They know it's not popular to even discuss increasing the gasoline tax. Then you start getting into some of the partisan divide because the Democrats don't want you to see an end to the transit diversions, which this bill would do. It would take away what they call the congestion mitigation program, which not only takes away your emissions testing, it also takes away their ability to force you to spend money on transit when it should be going to highways, because that's whose taxes are collected from the highway users. Their highway money shouldn't be going to transit. That's supposed to be locally funded. With your local sales tax, if at all. So this has a lot of bold things in it that they've been discussing and talking about and debating in Congress ad nauseum forever, it seems like. But it's time to take some action. They know it's broke. Nobody has any solutions they want to discuss. They've put something out there on the table, which I commend them for. And it's real easy to take pot shots at it, but what's their solution if this isn't it? And that's where we come in as the grassroots, is to try and help these guys get traction and not just have it be another bill that's sitting on a shelf somewhere. But I can tell you another piece of news that I saw coming out of Oregon. I'm sure you've heard about it, California and Oregon both. They're kind of off a cliff when it comes to taxation and liberal policies that are chasing people out of their states. But California, of course, has had this huge punitive gas tax increase that now the people are trying to put it on the ballot to repeal that. There's some heads seriously trying to roll out there.
That's so backwards.
In retaliation for that.
That's so backwards, Terry. I mean, and it happens in municipal politics here and all over, where the governing power will put something in place, then the people have to react in order to
That's right.
repeal it. But instead of getting permission, the people have to act to prohibit them or undo what they've done.
Undo it. That's right.
Yeah, without their permission. The cities do it all the time. The battles with the red light cameras and many other issues, the neo-morality battles, not just fiscal issues, not just transportation issues. They do it all the time. The governing body will put something in place, and then the people